Hear that? It's holiday cheer arriving at Ulta Beauty with gifts for everyone on your list. Treat them to fan-favorite gift sets from Charlotte Tilbury and Peach and Lily. Go all out with timeless fragrances from YSL, Ariana Grande, and Carolina Herrera. And you can never go wrong with an Ulta Beauty gift card. Head to Ulta Beauty for gifts that make the holidays brighter and even more beautiful. Ulta Beauty. Gifting happens here.
AI is transforming customer service. It's real and it works. And with Finn, we've built the #1 AI agent for customer service. We're seeing lots of cases where it's solving up to 90% of real queries for real businesses. This includes the real-world complex stuff like issuing a refund or cancelling an order. And we also see it when Finn goes up against competitors. It's top of all the performance benchmarks, top of the G2 leaderboard, and if you're not happy, we'll refund you up to $1 million, which I think says it all. Check it out for yourself at fin.ai.
Why choose a Sleep Number smart bed?
Can I make my site softer?
Can I make my site firmer?
Can we sleep cooler?
Sleep Number does that. Cools up to 8 times faster and lets you choose your ideal comfort on either side. Your Sleep Number setting. Enjoy personalized comfort for better sleep night after night. It's the final days of our Black Friday sale. Recharge this season with a bundle of cozy, soothing comfort. Now only $17.99 for our C2 mattress and base plus free premium delivery. Prices higher in Alaska and Hawaii. Check it out at a Sleep Number store or sleepnumber.com today.
Ever wonder why so many people regain weight after stopping a GLP-1? Up to 40% of the weight lost can come from lean muscle. This weakens the body, slows metabolism, and makes it easier to put the pounds back on, creating a cycle of dependency. Prolon's 5-day fasting mimicking diet offers a drug-free way to maintain results and support long-term metabolic health. In just 5 days, it activates fasting pathways to burn fat, protect muscle, and rejuvenate cells, all while letting you enjoy real food. Get 25% off plus a $40 bonus gift when you subscribe at prolonlife.com/start. That's prolonlife.com/start.
This is the Daily Tech News Month in Review for November 2025. We're going to look back on what the big stories of the month were and try to help each other understand what just happened this month.
I don't know. It's a month full of news. We're going to talk all about it. Well, at least a couple of things anyways.
Yeah, we've got, what do we got? We've got bubbles.
Oh, sorry.
We've got Geminis, and we've got RAM prices.
And crickets.
I'm Tom Merritt.
I'm Jason Howell.
Let's look back on the big stories of November 2025. First, we like to ask an LLM what it thinks are the big stories of the month. And because it was one of the big stories of the month, we thought we'd ask the new Gemini 3 Pro. So let's run through this. Yeah. Well, is it? Is it smart?
I don't. Yeah, I guess we're about to find out. Did it get it right or wrong?
We have our own stories that we've picked, but let's see what Gemini picked. Jimmy picked AI and its economic and workforce impact.
Header.
This is, yes, in big header font. The AI rally and market milestones, the continued massive surge of tech giants, particularly Alphabet. Gemini thinks its dad is doing really well. The surge attributed to investor confidence in Gemini 3, me. The AI layoffs trend, news from companies like HP announcing plans to cut thousands of jobs, underscoring a broader industry-wide concern about AI-driven workforce displacement. Government and infrastructure investment, significant announcements regarding massive AI infrastructure spending, like Amazon investing in data centers, the Genesis mission that we talked about from the president. So I feel like it combined like 12 stories into one with this one. But it does touch on some of the stuff we're going to talk about when we talk about the tech bubble. So I'll give it a half pass.
I'll give it like a sideways thumb. It did the thing that that AI is really good at. It's like, here's a bunch of things. Now I'm going to like interconnect them and mash them together into one giant soup.
Smush them up into a sentence that grammatically makes sense. The second one is fall product launches and hardware battles. I did this as a big story last month. I feel like there was more product launches last month, but Gemini mentioned OnePlus 15, the iQOO 15, Realme GT8 Pro, And of course, the implementation of Snapdragon 8 Elite Gen 5 across a bunch of devices. Also talked about agentic AI in devices, with more on how new models like Google's Gemini.
Oh, did I mention Gemini, by the way?
And then the rise of assistive smart glasses, although it talked about Meta, not there's so many other smart glasses that have launched over the last couple of months. I feel like this is a miss. I don't think it really got this one right.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I mean, maybe the agentic AI. I don't know. I feel like these are kind of like blankets that could be applied to many different months. I don't know that this particular month was really strong in Android flagships, particularly strong in agentic AI. Maybe you could make the case on that one actually with Claude, the Opus update,
Gemini,
and Perplexity browser on Android. That was another story. Like there's certain things there. Smart glasses, I'm kind of like, wait a minute. That was like a last month story.
Yeah, that was
right?
an October thing. Did you get the right month, Gemini? Because I think that was last
I'm wondering if Gemini was too focused on making itself look cool, and
I think it might have
get the date right.
Let's see if its third topic concludes itself. Legal and regulatory environment continues to shape the power of big tech. Antitrust rulings. Fallout from the antitrust cases, notably Meta's case being dismissed, and the final remedy in the Google search monopoly case, surprising experts as being less punitive than expected. Well, that was definitely last month, the Google one. The AI regulation tug of war pressure from U.S. tech and industry concerns, leading to a reported reevaluation or potential delay of parts of the EU AI Act. That is definitely part of this. It doesn't mention GDPR, which is, I think, a bigger part of that review of EU regulation. Anyway, highlighting the tension between promoting innovation and establishing ethical and safety guardrails.
I don't know. I think what I'm realizing, or reminded of, is that AI is just not very good at like time-based stuff.
Yeah.
You say this month,
and it's like,
and it doesn't know what that means. Like, do I cut it off at November 1st and only take stories that like were birthed in this month, or stories that have been around for 2 years that had like a single sprinkle of something this month? It gets confused in this stuff, and so it ends up including a lot of randomness that
what is even a month, man?
Totally, man. Seriously, I need to use Nano Banana Pro and have it do me an infographic to explain that to me.
Here are some things that we considered, although we did not choose them as the big stories, that were not considered by Gemini. Google Aluminium OS, just a big story on November 25th. The settling of the Epic and Google lawsuit. It had a chance to talk about its dad again, and it didn't bring that up in the antitrust stuff. That was a big one, like them, declaring peace with third parties and sideloading and all that. The Valve Steam machine and the Steam frame. I mentioned the changes to GDPR, thieves not wanting you to get your Samsung phones. Probably not big enough to be a story, but that was kind of interesting. The Cloudflare outage explanation, Copilot coming to more Windows, succession planning for Tim Cook at Apple, kill switches on buses made by Chinese companies in Denmark, and Waymo hitting the freeway was a big story on November 12th. All right, let's get to our actual first topic. Is there a bubble? I feel like this is the story of the month. We opened the month on November 3rd with a big story about all the deals being made. And Gemini actually mentioned the Amazon one. It did not mention Microsoft's $9.7 billion deal with data center firm IREN. It didn't mention Meta's 1 gigawatts of solar power that it's after, or Meta applying to become an energy trader. And I think even bigger towards the end of the month, the building buzz about whether we're in a bubble, Wall Street starting to get cold feet, and then everybody looking at the NVIDIA earnings, which turned out to be very strong and very good, and settled all of Wall Street's concerns for less than a day before they went back to being concerned about whether there is a bubble. We've talked about it a lot on the show, but I think the fact that everyone is still talking about the AI bubble, and now I feel like by the end of this month, it's less of, is there a bubble, and more of, when will it burst and how will it burst? The tone has really changed.
Yeah, I mean, I obviously, between all the shows that we do, this is like a recurring topic on so much of what I've been doing the past month. And I think where I've settled on this is less that it's, I mean, okay, technically it probably is a bubble. Like basically my thinking on this is if we're thinking, oh, hey, this is a bubble and it's going to burst and it's going to take everything down with it. I don't actually think this is going to happen, right? Like I think it's more of a correction.
It's a bubble.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, and sometimes I get the feeling that when people talk about a bubble, that's what they're talking about. They're like, and hell's gonna break loose. You just wait and see. It's gonna take everything down with it. And I just don't see that happening. I see a correction, and maybe it's, stands, how you define bubble. It might be the same thing. But, yeah, it was interesting how it was all bubble, reaching to the top. Then the NVIDIA earnings happened. And it was like, oh, okay, maybe there isn't one. And then it didn't take very long. It's like there's a driving narrative through this whole bubble talk, and it keeps getting pushed. And I wonder what the there really is there.
Yeah, I see another one of the objections is focusing on the fact that NVIDIA invests money into a startup that then uses that money to buy chips from NVIDIA to build its data center, and the circular nation of all, the circular nature of all of this.
Yeah.
All of the economy is circular. So the fact that it's circular doesn't bother me.
True.
What would bother me is if that startup is only going to make money off of the investment from NVIDIA, right? Then it's a Ponzi scheme. But if the investment helps them buy chips from NVIDIA that then allow them to grow a business that makes money, that's fine. I don't have a problem with that. That's actually just the way the economy works in a slightly smaller scale. So it brings us back to the big question, which is how are companies going to make money off of this? And all of the AI companies have lots of great charts that show we'll have user growth like this. We'll charge this amount a month. I think the fact that it is based on paid subscriptions and everyone is used to that already is a positive. We're not talking about, well, we got to get people to use this for free and sell advertising. We've got an actual revenue source, right? That's coming in the door consistently. It's a matter of whether you can make it useful enough that people say, I want to keep paying for this, or I have to keep paying for this because it's essential for what I do.
Am I alone here in what I do? Well, I'm clearly I'm not entirely alone, but like I pay for like 4 or 5 of these different things. Now, granted, I do an AI podcast.
I was going to say, I just got the alert for AI Inside's new episode, so that could have something to do with it.
But and that's why I asked the question. Are there a lot of other people out there that do find the need or the desire to pay for these different services because they are different enough, or is everybody just buying into one?
I don't have a good sense of where the borders are. There's plenty of people using it for free. I would say the majority of people use it for free.
Yeah, that's true.
I think there's plenty of people who pay for a $20 level subscription, or they're paying for Google Workspace and adding it on or something like that. I don't know how many of those there are. I think there's very few people paying the $200, super pro subscriptions that are out there from Google and OpenAI. But I think there is enough usefulness in this that there are ways to make money. And I think it's easy to criticize, like, well, you don't know how you're going to make money, so it's not a business. As we have seen over and over, Facebook didn't know how it was going to make money. Google didn't know how it was going to make money, and they figured it out. It was exploiting our eyeballs for advertising.
Pretty much.
But there are lots of different ways to make money, and it's not about necessarily whether it's advertising or subscriptions. It's about what are people going to use our product for in a large enough amount that we can generate revenue off of it. And I think there is so much that these LLMs can do that there is going to be enough usefulness that some of these companies are going to be able to generate a profit out of them. I can't tell you right now which ones those are. It won't necessarily be the ones that are being used most right now. And I can't tell you how it's going to look. This might become an enterprise level thing. And the consumer level product is almost a loss leader. And you're feeding, special training and inferencing into enterprise level, narrow views that really generate the majority of the money for these companies. That is one way this could work. That's not the only way it could work. And anybody who tells you they know whether it's going to work this way or not is lying, because nobody knows.
Yeah, it's a big question mark. And then there's the Hugging Face CEO, who remember the story, Delang CEO, Clem Delane, who said that we're not looking at an AI bubble. What this is an LLM bubble.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
That seems pretty, I mean, for my mind, that seems pretty spot on. Like, I think
if you understand what he means, I think he's right, which is we are going to have new technologies that are going to do new things, and we're going to have new ways of implementing LLMs. And it's the companies that figure those things out first, either by luck or skill or both, that are not going to be hurt when the bubble deflates.
Susceptible. Yeah. I
do think the bubble will it'll take a couple of years for it to deflate, and it could go fast or slow. I'm not even sure.
Well, just stick a patch on it. Like, seriously, do we have a patch? Yeah. Like, if it's leaking a little bit of air, like, catch it now.
Take the AI bubble, put it in the bathtub. You'll see bubbles where the leak is. Easily done.
Right.
All right.
Perfect.
That's only our first topic. Hang on. There's more.
Why choose a Sleep Number smart bed?
Can I make my site softer?
Can I make my site firmer?
Can we sleep cooler?
Sleep Number does that. Cools up to 8 times faster and lets you choose your ideal comfort on either side. Your Sleep Number setting. Enjoy personalized comfort for better sleep night after night. It's our Black Friday sale. Recharge this season with a bundle of cozy, soothing comfort. Now only $17.99 for our C2 mattress and base, plus free premium delivery. Prices higher in Alaska and Hawaii. Check it out at a Sleep Number store or sleepnumber.com today.
Hey, it's Adam Grant from TED's podcast, Work Life, and this episode is brought to you by ServiceNow. AI is only as powerful as the platform it's built into. That's why it's no surprise that more than 85% of the Fortune 500 companies use the ServiceNow AI platform. While other platforms duct tape tools together, ServiceNow seamlessly unifies people, data, workflows, and AI, connecting every corner of your business. And with AI agents working together autonomously, anyone in any department can focus on the work that matters most. Learn how ServiceNow puts AI to work for people at servicenow.com.
Hear that? It's holiday cheer arriving at Ulta Beauty with gifts for everyone on your list. Treat them to fan-favorite gift sets from Charlotte Tilbury and Peach and Lily. Go all out with timeless fragrances from YSL, Ariana Grande, and Carolina Herrera. And you can never go wrong with an Ulta Beauty gift card. Head to Ulta Beauty for gifts that make the holidays brighter and even more beautiful. Ulta Beauty. Gifting happens here.
Parles-tu français?
¿Hablas español?
Parli italiano?
If you've used Babbel, you would. Babbel's conversation-based technique teaches you useful words and phrases to get you speaking quickly about the things you actually talk about in the real world. With lessons handcrafted by over 200 language experts and voiced by real native speakers, Babbel is like having a private tutor in your pocket. Start speaking with Babbel today. Get up to 55% off your Babbel subscription right now at babbel.com/acast. Spelled BABBEL.com/acast. Rules and restrictions may apply.
Grief doesn't keep a calendar. Anxiety doesn't clock out after 5. Depression doesn't care if it's your busy season. But support can still fit into your life. With Grow, you can find a therapist who meets you where you are. They connect you with thousands of independent licensed therapists across the U.S., offering both virtual and in-person sessions. You can search by insurance, provider specialty, treatment methods, and more to find a therapist who works for you. And if it's not the right fit, switching is easy. There are no subscriptions, no long-term commitments. You just pay per session. Find therapy on your time. Evenings, weekends, and cancel up to 24 hours in advance at no cost. Whatever challenges you're facing, Grow Therapy is here to help. Sessions average about $21 with insurance, and some pay as little as $0 depending on their plan. Visit growtherapy.com/ACAST today to get started. That's growtherapy.com/ACAST. growtherapy.com/ACAST. Availability and coverage vary by state and insurance plan.
Well, how about we talk a little bit about Gemini 3? Not because I am a product of Gemini, and I'm talking about myself.
No, he's a real human. I've met him.
I'm actually a real human. I'm sitting here talking with my actual human mouth. But yeah, at least at the time of the recording right now, last week was a pretty big week for Google. They had the Gemini 3 launch. They had a few days later the Nano Banana Pro, which I mean was probably a little bit less of a big deal for Google, but still pretty big considering it came on the heels.
Well received in both cases.
Well received, very well received. And Nano Banana, the initial release of that was a big viral hit. So Google's been getting a lot of praise for what it's doing in image generation, coming out with its next step, and what it's proving itself to be really good at was pretty impressive coming from Google. But yeah, I mean, Gemini 3 definitely bringing a lot of advancements. From my meeting when I was there with Google last week, one of the things that they were talking about is how every kind of whole point release of Gemini has a different focus. I can't remember what they said the first Gemini release was the focus of, or if it was just, get it out the door.
The first Gemini, I don't know what they said either, but the first one was panic. The first one was OMG.
Oh my God, get something
happened.
out there right now.
Yeah,
yes, totally. Yeah. The second one was about reasoning and thinking and that sort of stuff. This third one is really about image and kind of design, let's say, really kind of being design focused on and working on a deeper level with the multimodality, being able to feed in very long videos, like hours long videos, and having it pull context from that. And then what it produces on the other side, the imagery that it can give you, or if you're working with their IDE, their anti-gravity, tool, yeah, like some of the stuff that you can get that to vibe code, if you want to use that word. I always kind of cringe a little bit when I say it, but is very visual. And that's apparently their big focus for Gemini 3 is the visual quality of a lot of what they're getting. And it's been really impressive to a lot of people.
Yeah, topping benchmarks, causing people to wonder if Alphabet has won, which I think it's way too early to say.
They've won. Yes. Yeah. Okay. The game is over forever and ever. Yeah. They won AI because of Gemini 3.
I think it is amazing comeback, right? A couple of years ago, people were saying Google was all washed up. They got scooped by OpenAI and they'll never catch up. Well, guess what? They caught up. Spoiler. So OpenAI is also going to catch up. Anthropic's Opus model is very good. They're going to stay in this race. Others are going to be around the edges like Mistral and Perplexity and DeepSeek. And China has a ton of open models like Qwen from Alibaba. Like, this is far from over. And you are...
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to guess none of the models we're looking at right now are going to be the thing everybody's talking about in 5 years' time. It's not going to be based on any of this. We're going to have something entirely new. Could be from Google, but maybe not Gemini based. And so this is great. And I think Gemini 3 is really good. But as we saw earlier in the show, it ain't perfect. None of them are perfect.
Far from perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're just always getting a little better all the time.
Well, and not only are they individually getting better, but getting better compared to each other. So what we've seen already, and this is going to be no different, it's just we're really close to Gemini 3's release right now, is that every time a new major company releases their model, it becomes better than, yes, their last model, but also inches better than the competition. Others. They're constantly fighting for that top spot. And they only get a short amount of time to really celebrate the fact that their model is in that top spot, because there's enough of them that these releases are happening so rapidly, so frequently.
Yeah. So, and trust me, Google stockholders, or Alphabet stockholders, very, very pleased right now that the rhetoric around Gemini is so positive and people are so positive about Alphabet. Same issue. How you gonna make money off of it applies to Google. Although Google does have a pretty solid revenue base with advertising that won't go away overnight. I know there's a little catastrophizing about search. It's not like people are going to stop using search. So, these are longer term concerns, or at least medium term concerns. And it's not over. It's far from over. Google has to keep differentiating. And I think the advantage that Google had that allowed them to catch back up is they have fundamental research, and they have to keep creating fundamental research at DeepMind, which I don't doubt they're going to do. But that is a huge part of why they are able to do this, is because they have people at DeepMind working on the fundamental research that they can then apply to these public facing products.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's super true. Yeah, it's an interesting time for Google. I think what you said as far as kind of them, it really was not that long ago when Google was the easy kind of punching bag for the symbol of like, you should have been the one to reign supreme in all of this. How are you left behind? And now they've really kind of turned it around. Now they're even renting out their TPUs apparently to Meta.
Took that, NVIDIA.
And that's their internal technology. Now they're finding a new avenue for monetizing that. I mean, they're in a pretty good position when it comes to all this AI stuff.
Yeah. There's a lot of breathlessness around stuff, including that NVIDIA comment that I just made, where it's like, yeah, NVIDIA's doing an entirely different thing than renting out some TPUs to Meta. Sure. Will Google maybe be able to sell these across the enterprise in the future? Possibly not. And if they do, NVIDIA is not going away. So this is a horse race now is really all this means to me.
Absolutely is.
All right. That is 2 of our 3 big stories from November, or 4 big stories if you're a patron. Hold, please, for the next one.
If your eyes are the windows to your soul and your glasses are the windows to your eyes, then it's pretty important to find your perfect frames. That's why at Warby Parker, we've made shopping for eyewear as easy and fun as can be. Peruse endless styles in our stores, or use our app to virtually try on frames and get personalized recommendations. To find your next favorite pair of glasses, sunglasses, or contact lenses, or to locate your nearest Warby Parker store, head over to warbyparker.com. That's warbyparker.com.
Hear that? It's holiday cheer arriving at Ulta Beauty with gifts for everyone on your list. Treat them to fan-favorite gift sets from Charlotte Tilbury and Peach and Lily. Go all out with timeless fragrances from YSL, Ariana Grande, and Carolina Herrera. And you can never go wrong with an Ulta Beauty gift card. Head to Ulta Beauty for gifts that make the holidays brighter and even more beautiful. Ulta Beauty. Gifting happens here.
Have you seen the price of RAM?
I have not priced it for myself, but I know that things are going up.
Oh, way, way up. We talked about this on the Wednesday, the last show of November, with me and Sarah Lane. Let me see if I can find this comment that somebody sent to us in response to that. It was some prices for the RAM that they bought not that long ago for $400 was now $1,600.
What?
It's talking about 96 gigabytes of RAM. We're talking about a huge amount of RAM in that case. But yeah, even 64 gigs of RAM that was a few $100s in August is now $700. This is an interesting story because it really has become a bigger story over the course of the month. We have been talking on the show about SK Hynix and Samsung projecting big profits coming in because of the price of RAM, as an early signal that this was not going to go away. And of course, recently Lenovo reassured investors that it had stockpiled 50% of what it's going to need all the way into 2026. So don't worry about it. It's not going to have a shortage of components for building its products because it got ahead of this. But that's what's going on right now is the build of data centers has started to cause orders to reserve RAM. The RAM isn't even going into the data centers yet, but the people who are going to build the data centers have signed the contract saying you are going to sell us a bunch of RAM at this price over the next couple of years. And so then the companies that make the RAM are saying, well, we don't have any RAM to sell you, small business who makes build to order PCs, because we've contracted to give it all to them. That drives up the price. And as we talked about on Wednesday, there's other factors in here like tariffs and the switch to DDR5 from DDR4. But this is not going to go away. This is going to continue to be a big story. This is just the first month of complaining about the price of RAM.
And this is all, I mean, this is a very long article, I must admit, in the PCGamer.com site. But, it mentions the cause being AI. It's funny because we're so used to the conversation being, AI is swallowing all the GPUs. And that's why there's shortages in GPUs. Now that's extending to RAM, which I would say that impacts far more people directly.
AI has never swallowed the GPUs you need for your desktop game. That was always a misunderstanding of what was going on. Mostly what was happening with GPUs was that Bitcoin miners were buying it, and they were only buying it because the specialty devices that they wanted to buy were disappearing. And that's why GPUs have come back down to earth. If you go and shop for a GPU now, you can find it for less than retail in some cases. That was unheard of a couple of years ago, and it had nothing to do with AI because AI wasn't using those GPUs. They were using Blackwell GPUs. What's happening now, though, is as GPUs come back down to earth, the RAM that you use in your consumer machine is also not the same RAM they need in the data center, but the DDR5 part of it is. And so the factories can only produce so much DDR5. And if they've contracted to put it in the high bandwidth memory for the data center builder, well, that means they're not putting it into the consumer level RAM that would go into your desktop. So that is directly because people are building these data centers for OpenAI and Microsoft and et cetera. And that is taking up the available component supply chain. It's also going to raise solid state memory. It's already started to raise it a little bit. That one's a little different because, again, the solid state drives they use in data centers are not the ones, and not at all the ones that go into your machine, but they do use magnetic hard drives for cold storage. And as you might have guessed, we don't make as many magnetic hard drives as we used to. They're not in as big a demand. Not. So those are disappearing, and companies building data centers are turning to consumer solid state drives for cold storage. And so they're buying up your solid state drives that you would put in your home computer to put into data centers. That's having less of an effect, but it's still having an effect. And it's not an easy thing to change, right? You can't just go turn on the RAM faucet and have more RAM come out. You have to build more factories. You have to convert factories, and that sort of stuff takes time and expense. And companies may or may not want to spend the time or expense to do that if they're worried that there's a bubble and maybe this demand all goes away, and then they're left with an empty factory.
Yeah, what you're talking about, just like it's not even like a doubling in price. It's like a quadruple. I mean,
double and triple in price easily.
Double and triple easily. That's insane. You asked me at the beginning if I've been looking or in the market, and I have not, and now I'm happy that I haven't. I did notice, as this is like the day before Thanksgiving, so we got Black Friday on the mind. Some articles that I was reading about Mac sales coming up, and some of the articles that I was reading were like, don't pay more for the built-in RAM. Or for the built-in storage, get it outside of that. And, I don't know. It just got me thinking about this.
You might want to pay for the built-in RAM at this point.
You're going to need that. Yeah.
Check that price. The Verge ran an article that some places like Micro Center have stopped listing the price of RAM. They're treating it like lobster.
Oh, wow.
They're like, it's, the market changes every day. So the lobster and the RAM are at market price. Please ask your waiter.
Oh, wow. Well, what did you think were the biggest stories of the month? If you have insight into a story and you want to share it with us, you can do that. Feedback at dailytechnewsshow.com.
Yes, thanks to you for being along for Daily Tech News Show. You can keep us in business. Become a patron at patreon.com/DTNS. And in fact, if you are a patron, stick around. We have one more story just for the patrons and the Substack subscribers. AirDrop compatibility with Android.
The DTNS family of podcasts, helping each other understand.
Diamond Club hopes you have enjoyed this program.
Blood donation is now more inclusive. More people are able to donate blood with the American Red Cross through FDA guidelines that eliminate eligibility questions based on sexual orientation. The Red Cross celebrates this historic change and welcomes those who may be newly eligible to donate blood. There's a place for everyone in the mission of the Red Cross. The Red Cross is committed to achieving an inclusive blood donation process that treats all potential donors with equality and respect while maintaining the safety of the blood supply. Join us and help save lives. To learn more and make your appointment to donate blood, visit redcrossblood.org/LGBTQ. That's redcrossblood.org/LGBTQ.
Hi, this is Joe from Vanta. In today's digital world, compliance regulations are changing constantly, and earning customer trust has never mattered more. Vanta helps companies get compliant fast and stay secure with the most advanced AI, automation, and continuous monitoring out there. So whether you're a startup going for your first SOC 2 or ISO 27001, or a growing enterprise managing vendor risk, Vanta makes it quick, easy, and scalable. And I'm not just saying that because I work here. Get started at Vanta.com.